What is up, YouTube? So today we are going to be doing another guide. We are going to jump into Kali really fast. It was requested by a shit ton of you, so I figured I might as well knock that one out next. We're going to go right into the build. Pretty straightforward for your first item. Warrior's Tabby. Warrior Tabby, always. Alright, so some people get attack speed boots here. There's two reasons you're really going Warrior Tabby. For one, early game, you're pretty worthless aside from your burst damage. We'll talk about the combo in a second. But essentially, you want to have burst for your first two items. You want to make those two items increase your early burst damage, because that is your only power spike. Until you finish basically Kins and Vitalis, you really don't have the hardest power spike on Kali. So the earlier any form of power spike you can really get is what you're looking for. So, Warrior Tabby into Heartseeker. Now, I questioned this build at first too. It does very fucking well. So, your Warrior Tabby is giving you extra power. You've got, what, 40? Yeah, 40 power on your Warrior Tabby. You then have 25 power on your Heartseeker, so there's 65 power. Your 3 also gives you bonus power, and because you're maxing your 2 and then your 3 will always have a decent amount of power it will be giving you. So whenever you run up to somebody and 3 and auto attack them or hit them with whatever ability with your 2, with whatever your damaging ability you're hitting them with, it's going to chunk. It's going to hit really hard because you have the extra power. So getting Warrior Tabby into Heartseeker is that early game burst. You instantly become a threat because you actually chunk everybody in the game at this point. Not many people have too much defense. All the mages are squishy as fuck, sitting around with like 800 HP. When you can burst them for 300-400 on Kali, it's a little ridiculous. And then you already have the auto attacks, which will still be hitting decently hard, especially since they're stunned and you have the extra power. It works out very well. Next in the build is where you kind of delay your next power spike. You pretty much have to do it. We're going kin size. So the idea behind this is you get your insta burst between Heartseeker and Warrior Tabby, right? You now get your insta burst with the added Kins percentage. You get the extra power. You have 40 power. So your Heartseeker is hitting even harder. You have attack speed, so you get a few more auto attacks in. Then you have the 4%. So basically, you're running up to somebody, you're stunning, you're autoing, you're 2ing, and you're autoing over and over again. So with this build, you get even more burst. There's no way you're going to have enough damage if you build Fatalis in this spot. You'll basically be running around chasing idiots forever, and in any competent game, any game with players who aren't fucking idiots, you won't be able to just run around freely. It won't happen. The Fatalis, you won't have enough damage combined with the Vitalis at this point to make it relevant. So getting Kins, it's going to delay, obviously. It's a more expensive item, but it adds an insane amount to your burst. And at this point, because you burst so hard, if you are able to keep auto-attacking, which will happen half the time probably, unless the whole team is right there, you get the opportunity to use Kins even more. You get the extra 4% every single auto, and you do get to auto more than just the few times you do in your stun. So it works out really well. Next is where you're going into your Vitalis, because you've already got your hard power spike, you've got Insane Burst, you have the Kins online, you have a little bit of pen out of your Heartseeker, you now get pen out of Vitalis and the movement speed of the passive and everything you need, attack speed, all the shit you need on Kali. Next, you are going into more pen. Let me find that shit. Pen. So you're going into Titan's Bane. With Titan's Bane, you get the missing pen. You do have a decent amount with this. You have enough attack speed coming out of Vitalis and Kins to really do what you need to do. And then you finish the build with more attack speed. You finish with Oboe. Because realistically, that is the one thing you're slacking on. You can tell in the build, you've got early burst, which changes away from Kali's original early build to usually go full attack speed early. So with this, you're getting up to 2.18 attack speed, fast as fuck. You have insane burst. You pretty much maintain this build. You don't need to go back and sell any items, which then allows you to look at your consumables. You can get your flickering, which is your combat blink. You can get your frenzy. You can wait for your 3k pot. You can get everything you need online with this build, and it's not too expensive. It's really fairly cheap. When Kins is your most expensive item, and there's nothing else that really comes near it cost-wise, you're in a fucking great spot. So next is Kali's ability. You're going to max your 2, because that's going to be your clear and your poke and everything. I then usually level my 3. I like to be aggressive on Kali early. You can level your 1 next to be safe, but I like to be aggressive. I then level my 1, my 2, my ults. Obviously, max your 2 when you can. Then your 3, because as we said, your 3 is giving you extra power. Rank 1 is 10, 2, 20, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 50. So, pretty straightforward. Plus, it's a stun. It's awesome. I like to level up my 2 to get that burst that we're talking about, get the more damage out. Now, here is where you can kind of do whatever you want. I keep leveling my 3 because that's what I'm looking for. I think most people will agree. You get a longer buff duration, you have power for longer, you do a shit ton of damage. It's insane. 3's damage it adds is insane. You can use this to clear camps, you can use this to do Gold Furies, whatever you need. Obviously, you don't want to waste it in case someone else is going to come in. If you're doing Gold Fury, don't waste your 3 on the Gold Fury if the team is going to contest it. But if you're just trying to burst really fast on the Gold Fury, use it. Get the extra power, do the extra damage. Now, here is where you can do what you want. So, your 1 is going to be used for chasing, escaping, and healing, because it heals when you land on people. Most of the time, it's going to be used for escaping. Most of the time. Not always, especially early game. Use a lot more for escaping. But the fact that it heals and the fact that it does do a decent amount of damage, and a lot of the time someone gets away, you want to leap on them and try to finish them off right away to get your passive killed or get your passive target killed, and then you heal up, right? So having the 1 having extra damage will allow for you to use it as a chase tool, to use it as a finisher, all that shit. It's very, very good. However, your ult is going to give you a longer duration on your ult. Granted, it only goes up 1 second, but that 1 second is a long fucking time. So these 2 can be leveled up either way. You have to do it game to game. If you're noticing yourself ulting and the extra ult time is actually going to be a big deal and the extra damage on your ult is going to be a big deal, level your ult. Most of the time, you are going to be maxing your 1 though, because like I said, it's going to be extra damage. It's going to be good for a finisher. Plus, it has that heal that you have to remember. And then I am maxing my... Alright, so we have the items done. We have the abilities done. We can go over matchups, and we can talk about the combo. I'm pretty sure I covered the combo, however. You're pretty much running up, you're using your 3 to stun, you're auto-attacking once, and then you're hitting your 2. You're landing your 2 on them. It's straightforward 2. Put the little circle right on top of them, put the ability marker right on top of them. All 3 blades will go through them, they'll get fucking chunked, and then you just keep auto-attacking. Play safely with your ult, and you're 1. Your ult doesn't really use at full health. It doesn't need to be used at 10% health. It can be used if you think you're about to get bursted. You really want to use it when you think there's a chance you're going to die. Not because you're scared, not because you're freaking out, not because you're out of position. Wait till you think that next second you're going to die on that next second. That's when you want to use the ult. And as I said for the 1, use it for escaping, chasing. Very rarely use it for initiating, except for possibly in the few levels of the early game. That's the only time you really want to do that. Now, for matchups, assassin-wise, you do well against everything but a Weelix, Serket, and Arachne. Arachne can 1v1 you because Arachne has healing, Arachne has lockdown, and Arachne can ult during your ult and finish you. And you can't attack Arachne when neither of you are going to be attacking each other, but Arachne's ult does damage at the end of it. Your ult just falls off and you're usually no health. A Weelix is going to have the counterplay to your leap. Granted, it's not a super insane counter that you're just going to get fucked all the time. It is just very annoying. And a Weelix can also flip your stun combo, so if the Weelix is playing smarter than you, playing better than you, it can be very frustrating. And then for Serket, Serket has anti-heal on the ult. Serket has a lot of lockdown, has a lot of mobility that Kali will have just will struggle trying to keep up with. So Serket is one of those gods you want to avoid playing against unless they're really bad. If Serket's just randomly throwing out the ult and you're able to ult after Serket ult, you're fine. But a good Serket is going to save the ult or just use it to burst you down, and the ticking damage from it is going to fuck you. You're not going to heal at the end of your ult, and you're going to die. Straightforward. Pretty simple. All the other matchups are okay. You do well against Hun Bats because Hun Bats has to go up in the air and has a delayed on the 2. So you can actually stun 2 combo Hun Bats every time he tries to 2 you. You can stun Thor out of his spin or out of his hammer throw. Rat can be somewhat annoying early, but once you get the late, you do fine. Nemesis is pretty, like, all the gods are fairly easy to stick on. Anija can be very annoying because the burst, if Anija free ults you and you get almost one shot in the air and then you have to come down and leave the fight every time, it's super fucking frustrating. But realistically, you'll be okay against most. You won't struggle against too much. You can stun Fenrir out of his brutalize, all the good shit, the obvious stuff that you should know. Warrior wise, everything is fucking annoying until you get the late game for Warrior. It's really hard to kill warriors that aren't idiots. Simple as that. You don't hard counter any of these warriors. Granted, if you're smart, you can stun Vamana out of his dash. That's about it. You can stop Ballona's bludgeon. Nothing else is going to be great for you at all in the warrior in terms of warriors. Guardian wise, once you get Kins online, you do a fair amount of damage. Obviously, avoid gods that just fuck you up and disorient you and kind of mess up your team fight. Like Sobek could be really annoying, but it can also not be the worst. Um, Everything else you'll be able to kill once you get items online. Mages, you burst all the mages. You dumpster all the mages. Some are going to be harder to stick on, like Poseidon for you. Possibly Janus, because of the mobility, can be very frustrating, especially since you usually don't have a wing blade. And it's more rare for you to have sprint these days. On your team, that is. So, Janus can be annoying. Poseidon can be annoying. Thoth is something you do very well against, because if you blink on Thoth, stun combo, and the Thoth dashes out, you just jump on the Thoth again. Or you just blink on the Thoth, auto attack, make him dash, then jump on the Thoth, stun him, burst him down, and fucking kill him. Either which way. All the other gods, you have your ults, so you do fairly well against. Chunga can be frustrating. A good Chunga, because of the movement speed that she gets now from regrowth. But you can play around it. It's not the end of the world. All the other mages you will do just fine against. Hunters, also, you'll do just fine against all of them, every single one. On her, kiting you can be annoying because of the slow, but you're pretty damn fast. Apollo's mez can be annoying too. But like I said, you're fast as fuck. You can stick on almost all of these gods fairly easily. Don't have too much to worry about. Hopefully this build guide helped you. Hopefully knowing what to build helps you. Hopefully knowing the combo, even though it's not too intricate on Kali. Hopefully knowing that will help you, and knowing the matchups will help you. If you guys want another god guide done, just tell me which god you want in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. It means a lot to know what kind of content you guys want on this channel, and the only really way I can go off of it is off your comments and off your likes and off of the videos that cause you to hit that sub button. So I really do appreciate it when you guys do that, and I will see you all in the video tomorrow.